Hi everybody, this is Rick here. Welcome to Digital Fortress. I'm going to start right here in just a bit. I'm going to show you how to use the pool calculator on Antipolis GitHub. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to give you a funny example as to why it's so confusing and frustrating to try to figure out optimal pledge. That's the key. That's what pool operators are trying to do, is figure out optimal pledge. You won't be able to do it with this video, but you might be able to figure out a range that you can tolerate given your budget. And I'm going to give you a funny example first, and I'll show you how to use the calculator. Let me just get this link dropped so get a few other folks that can join and ask questions. And I won't be able to take your questions while I'm trying to run the math. Otherwise, my brain will explode. But I will try to answer your questions after we are done, after I'm done showing you how this works. I'm just going to drop it in the Telegram channel here. Let me see if I can get this right. Let's see if I can get, let's see here. Okay. I think we're good. Oh, here we go. All right. Okay, so how to use this calculator? Well, first, I'm going to tell you my funny story. You know, it can be a little bit frustrating trying to figure out the optimal zone. What should pledge be? And there's various numbers that we came up with and put out there. You know, people are not sure what it is, what numbers they should go with. And I threw some numbers out there trying to figure it out myself also. And so why is it so frustrating? Well, here's a funny story. So I'll tell you the story first, and then we'll get into using the calculator. And then hopefully you'll have fun using the calculator after my story. And you go, what a dumbass, all right? So here's the deal. I'm going to try to bring some common sense to crypto. Maybe I should rename my channel Bringing Common Sense to Crypto, you know, for the common people or something like that. I don't know, because if you have the world of reality and the world of crypto and made a Venn diagram, there's a little bit of overlap. Not much, but a little bit, okay? So let's say, for example, you're going to buy a new car, and I'm going to use American and European numbers to make this pretty realistic, okay? You're going to buy a new car. You have an average income, average family. All right, you got two choices. You got a $20,000 economy car, and you got the $30,000 sports car, or 20,000 euro and 30,000 euro, for example. Okay. All right. So you go to the car dealership and you're looking at these two cars, and you say to the car dealership guy, and you go, hey, I got a question about this economy car. What's the fuel economy? What kind of fuel economy am I going to get the $20,000 car? Well, the $20,000 car, it's got a 2-liter engine, and it's the economy. The $30,000 car, it's got a 3-liter engine, and it's a sports coupe, okay? But it's basically the same car, all right? Pretty realistic scenario. So you say to the car dealership guy, and you say, hey, what's the fuel economy on the 2-liter engine car? And he says, well, it depends on the weight of the passengers. It depends on the tire pressure. It depends on the driving conditions. It depends on the air density. It depends on the gradient of the road. Here's a slide rule and a calculator. Go ahead and figure out what the fuel economy is. And you're left there scratching your head going, really? Okay. So then you say, all right, well, tell me about what is the 0 to 60 time on that sports car? How fast can that baby go? And then the guy's answer is, well, it depends on the weight of the passengers, and it depends on the tire pressure, and it depends on the air density, and it depends on the driving conditions, it depends on the surface gradient of the road. You're like, dude, and then he hands you a freaking calculator and a slide rule and says, go ahead and figure out the 0 to 60 time. Like, can't you give me a rough number? You know, like 35 miles to the gallon on that economy car and 0 to 60 in 5 seconds on a sports car. Now you can make a decision, right? Let's say the 20,000 is comfortably inside your budget, and the 30,000 is at the upper edge of your budget, but you can still squeeze it in a pinch. Has anyone ever been in that situation before? Well, if you're the average American, you know, mom and pop with a couple of kids, whatever, probably. So that's just an example of why it can be so frustrating when you try to figure out what is the optimal pledge. All right, now the problem that still remains that I haven't figured out is it still looks like biggest bags win. So Cardano, just like fiat and all other crypto, still has this scenario of biggest bags win. You can try some clever tricks in the short term, maybe make a couple of ADA, but biggest bags still win. Hello, everyone in chat. I'll try to get your questions at the end. AW Crypt says, pledge is all you can afford for its good cause. No one in crypto cares about good causes. That's just not what it is. I'll try to get your questions at the end here. Mark Vander Quickelberg. Hey, Mark here. How you doing, buddy? All right. AW Crypt says, Rick, I never knew you knew science. I don't. I read it in a pamphlet. All right, so let me share my screen on the left. I'm going to try to show you some common sense approaches that might help you figure out, as a pool operator, what should pledge be. Remember, never financial advice over here at Digital Fortress. So let me get my screen share up over here, and let's see how that goes. All right, now I'm going to try to show you the numbers, and I'm going to drop this link down below as soon as I'm done with the stream. Okay, so on the left I have Antipolas GitHub, which is Ruslan's GitHub. Ruslan's brilliant. He made this calculator a long time ago, and he's brilliant. He's probably like the Satoshi Nakamoto of Cardano, because he did all this brilliant stuff and disappeared, and I haven't seen him in a long time. But he's working over at Emergo, so great guy to have over there. All right, so over on the left, I've got the calculator, and on the right, I have Pool Tool for an example to put in some example numbers. These won't be perfectly precise, but they'll be within a range of reason that you can use to help sort your decision-making process. Okay, so on the left, I have a bunch of numbers. I've got O equals some number, S, K, A0, and R. A phi, I guess is what to call it, and R. And it goes through this math process and poops out an answer right here. So for the first numbers I have of 0.1, I came up with these for a reason. I got some numbers in here, and it poops out the 820. What I need to figure out first is, what is this R value? This is the total rewards per epoch, okay? All right, so it took me a while. I would not have figured this out if it wasn't for Priyank and Pal. So thank you, Priyank and Pal, for staying on me and giving me feedback and kind of dragging me through this and figuring stuff out. Thank you guys. I very much totally appreciate it. Priyank and Pal. Priyank is a RDLRT, pull ticker RDLRT, and Priyank's is under UNDR. Okay, UNDR, that's Priyank. Thank you guys for that. So I got to figure out the total epic reward. R, that represents the pool of total rewards for the whole epic. Okay, then I can start smashing numbers in here like a dumb chimp and try to figure out something. And so I'm going to go over here. What is the total rewards per epic? So I go over to Pool Tool from Papa Carp, Stake Ticker Love. Okay, 431 million by 141 epics. This will give me a rough number for what R is. And if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments down below. But this is about as close as I can get for now. Let's say I took 431 million, okay, and divided by 141 epochs, 141 epochs, and this is just to get me the ballpark. Okay, that gives me about 3 million, okay, 3 million. Now, currently on the ITN, A0 is not being used, and K equals 100, but I'm just going to plug that number in. So it's going to change how this number works, but I'm going to just show you here. 3 million. So 3 million. Okay. All right. Now I have an answer. So the total return for the entire pool would be 2,460 ADA per epoch. Okay. That would be the total return for the entire pool. Then the pool operator the tax would come out afterwards, after that. So if I set the pool fee to 1%, then I would get, the pool operator would get 1% of this number, or 24 ADA, whatever it is. And then the remainder would be split among the delegators. Now, coincidentally, this number is pretty close to DIGI. DIGI is pretty close to saturation, just under it. It's at like 105 million at 6%, and the pledge doesn't count. These numbers don't count. So they're going to be tested on the HTN. But the problem with testing these numbers on the HTN is it's not real ADA, so people aren't going to make real decisions. They're going to try to make real decisions, hopefully. I don't know how that's going to work, but people tend to do things a little bit fast and loose whenever the ADA doesn't actually cost them, out of their pocket. But we'll see how that goes. And then the main net will come out, and we'll see how that goes. But like I said, it's a biggest bag scenario thing is still there. The operators can change their pull fee percents. They can lower it down and get some short-term gains. But whoever has the highest pledge wins. I'm going to give you some examples. Okay, so let's say the total, what did I use? Okay, 30 billion ADA is the total. Okay, let me go back to these numbers and finish you showing this. 30 billion ADA is the total. Actually, what's it on the testnet? 14 million or 14 billion. Okay, so for the testnet, this number would represent 0.1%. Oh, I used 30 billion for this. Okay, so 0.1% of the total is O. You come down here and read O. Pool share, O, the share of all the stake in this pool. So if K equals 1,000 and my pool reaches saturation, that's how I understand it. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, you know how I am. Then that O equals 0.001 if K equals 1,000 and my pool saturates. Okay, now let's say we're using 30 billion ADA and the pool owner has 3 million. So I take 30 billion and I go over here to 3 million. So I make one pool with A0 at this number, and here's my pool rewards, but it's kind of rough. That number's not accurate, okay? Now let's say I want to make two pools. I want to take my 3 million and split it in half, which I don't have, okay? But I take the 3 million and I split it in half into 1.5 million each. So I would change this 0.0001 to a 0.00005, and here's the number. So I cut it down, right? And now I make two pools at a lower leader share, okay? And then here's the number, 2430. So watch what happens, 2430 or 2460. So I get a higher total reward for the pool if I put all of my pledge in one pool instead of splitting it into two. That makes sense. Now I ran through a couple scenarios and they do make sense. The calculator makes sense and the math makes sense. Okay, so it's all there. It's just, you know, real, back to my car example. Okay, you got to smash. Here's what I don't know. What's the green zone? What's the yellow zone? What's the red zone? Now, what's pretty cool in Daedalus, ITN Daedalus, it'll tell the delegator green, yellow, red. They'll have that, but for the pool operator, you're gonna have to smash the numbers and smash your head against the wall until you figure it out. What's the green zone for a pool operator? What's the yellow zone? What's the red zone? Right? You just we're gonna have to somehow figure that out. Okay. So that's like if I break it up into one pool at 0.5, and what happens if I break it up into more 0.0025, and I try to make 4 pools? Well, I can make 4 pools and this number's lower. Now, you got to remember the human factor. These are just numbers, right? Numbers are pretty crude, right? But in the human factor of things, if a pool's total result is 2460 ADA, again, not financial advice, never financial advice. This is an example. If the pool's total ADA is 2460 and the delegators get to split 2460, or if the pool's total ADA is, I'm going to cut that number in half again, 2430, okay, the delegators will tend to prefer the one pool with the higher pledge because of the higher rewards. And what we've learned on the testnet and life in general is a tiny bit more reward will get a lot more attention. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. But I still can't figure out the green zone, yellow zone, red zone. I just can't do it. It's a little bit too complicated still. You can look at these other numbers down here for K and A0. These numbers aren't bad. They're not perfect. They just give you a rough idea of how this works. We'll figure out more as time goes on. I'm going to stop my screen share here and check questions over in chat if anybody got any questions. I hope this video was helpful. That's really all I got for you to get you started, get you up and running. If you figure out some numbers, you can let me know down below. The only way I can imagine figuring this out is you have to take two really smart people like Anthony Pompliano and Vitalik Buterin and smash them together and say, hey guys, what's an optimal number given this range of, okay, I got this much to delegate. I mean, maybe, I don't know, I'm just kidding. You know, Umed Saidov and Elliot might be smart enough to figure it out. You know what they could do? They could make a graph, like a fuzzy graph that gives you ranges of options and then publish that and sell it. They could probably sell it. If they figure it out, they could probably sell a graph or make a spreadsheet or a chart or something like that. Anyway, just some thoughts and ideas. I hope that works out for you. Any questions over in chat? I don't see any questions. That's all I got. I'm going to try to keep this video short. I went on a little bit. Y'all have a great day. You take care, guys. All right. Everyone have a great day, guys and gals. And try to work out that calculator. If you got some feedback, let me know. I couldn't have figured it out if without the help of Priyank and Pal. And I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.